Now, how are they earning this? They are earning the money by supporting the enterprise goals. So they are framing different systems, right? They are giving us new techniques. Now this Microsoft PowerPoint presentation, this is a new technique, right? You can read it at the same time, and you can follow what I am telling you. So this is a technique which has been developed by our information technology friends. And it is also supporting the employees there. So the people are working. Now any organization has to run. So for that, employees require certain technology. So that technology is being provided by this. Then your customers and partners within and beyond the enterprise boundaries. So there are a lot of people who are willing to use these services. Now everybody is using a mobile phone. Why are you using a mobile phone? Previous days we didn't have a mobile phone, right? But why are we using the mobile phone today? Because that is a development which has happened in the information technology and the communication process. Without a mobile phone, nobody cannot stay today. So today, most of them have come to a stage where you can stay without eating food, but without the mobile, you are like, I can't stay. That is how the world has turned up. This is all because of the development that has happened into the information technology and how the business has managed and processed planning and rendering its services to everybody. The Indian IT BPM industry has been the flag bearer of Indian exports for past 2 decades as per the Economic Survey of India in the year 2019. The exports from this industry has reached almost to 177 US billion dollars in March 2019. So we learned that 47% of the exports that are happening are from the information technology sector. So the amount of exports that has happened is about 177 billion dollars. So we are the topmost, we can say, in this particular segment. So now these are again subcategorized. The IT BPM is again subcategorized into information technology services, software products and engineering services, then business process management, and then hardware. Now, if you look at the exports of the IT BPM sector, about 83% of the IT BPM industry, let's remove hardware, the contribution of the export is, so here about 83% of the IT BPM industry is driven majorly on export revenues. So here we have earned around $135 billion in the year 2018-19 from this particular segment of the IT. Next, during the year 2018-19, the revenue growth for the IT BPM sector has softened to 6.8% from 8.2% in 2017-18. So in the year 2017-18, the revenue that was contributed was around 8.2%, whereas it fell to 6.8% in the year 2018-19. Out of the total $135.5 billion exports in this sector in the year 2018-19, the IT services sector contributed around 55% of the exports. Now, next is about the government initiatives on this particular segment. A lot of policies have been initiated and have been put in so that the companies can adopt this particular technology or implement or to research and start these kind of services and organizations which help in Startup India and National Software Product Policy, and which also has issues which are related to the angel tax. So government has taken steps to support the organizations in the problems of the angel tax and the policy which it has framed for the national software product which they are working upon. Now next let's try to understand the transport sector. We all know about this transport sector. We keep traveling all the time, right? Say you have to go from your house to your college, or you want to go to a movie theater. You use different means of transport. It can either be a roadway, railway, if it is in Hyderabad. Whereas you want to travel from your town to any other place, say you want to travel from Hyderabad to Delhi. So you can either take a roadway, airway, or a railway. So we are going to talk and understand about this particular segment, that is our transport. Road transport plays a dominant mode of transportation mode, the gross value added and the traffic share. You see a huge amount of traffic movement all the time. You hardly find time where the roads are empty. This is because people are habituated to this particular way of. The share of the transport sector in the year 2017-18 was 4.77%, of which the road transport sector contributed to around 3.6%, 3.06%. Out of the 4.77% that was contributed by the entire transport sector, that is all the means of transport, only road transport contributed around 3.06%, followed by the railways around 0.75%, and then your airways 0.15%, and then your waterways around 0.06%. So this says that all of us are habituated to the roadways rather than your railways or the. Now the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways Authority has made it mandatory for the development and the maintenance of road networks, especially on the national highways, and has implemented the Motor Vehicle Act, which had formulated policies relating the road transport. So you have all those tolls while you are going on your highways. So that is being maintained for your development of your highways by the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways Authority. Now if you look at the railways, the railways was nationalized in the year 1950. Indian Railway has around 68,000 kilometers of route, which is the third largest network in the world under single management. Indian Railway is just managed by one single management. It is managing around 68,000 kilometers. Right? This is the third biggest network of transport that is being run in the entire world. Railway safety is accorded the highest priority by Indian Railways, and steps are being undertaken on a continuous basis to prevent accidents and to enhance safety of the passengers. So when you are traveling by railway, you hear very less about the train accidents that are happening, because the railway department and the taking ultimate steps and the best, putting in best of its efforts to ensure that everything is maintained properly. So once a train arrives to the platform, there is a separate wing which ensures that each and every particular aspect of that particular train is safe and it is as per condition. They do not neglect anything. They are taking 100% precautions to ensure that people have a safe travel all the time. Now, if you move to the air transport, India is the third largest domestic market for civil aviation in the country. So here, a lot of people in India have now got habituated to the airways. So therefore, we are also contributing a major chunk to the airways. India has around 136 commercially managed airports by the Airports Authority of India and 6 under public-private partnerships for operating, maintaining and development of the ports. Now, if you look at the waterways is again one of the means of transport which is connecting all our canals, lakes, your rivers, and the backwaters within the country. So, shipping connects majority of the ports in the country and worldwide. India almost has around 5,000 kilometers of river and canals, vast potential for inland water transport. It is the cheapest and the least polluting out of the different modes of transport that are available. The 5-year plans discussed about the integration of the major rivers, modernization of the boats and small ships, and training skilled labor to develop inland water transport services. So there are a lot of the 5-year plans are discussing about how we can link these rivers, major rivers, right? So you hear about your integration of the canals, rift irrigation that is happening, the lift irrigation projects that are happening. I'm sure you also heard about the recent contributions made by the Telangana government also in this matter of linking up the different lift irrigation projects and getting water supplied to all the areas of the state. And India has a coastline of around 7,156 kilometers with 13 major ports and 200 non-major ports. The share of the shipping sector or the waterways in the total transport sector is around 29%. Shipping is basically used to transport petroleum products and coal, etc. So we get a major chunk of crude oil. We import crude oil from the Arab countries. So importing of this crude oil is happening through the waterways. Next is about the energy sector. Energy sector is also another important development that has happened in the. So they determine a major factor or they play a very important factor in the economic development of all the countries. Energy is available in various forms. I'm sure we all learned about this in our childhood also while we were learning sciences. So this part is actually something that has been related to that. So why are we learning it when it is related to sciences? We are learning about how this is playing an important role in the economic development of a country. Now you say previously you go back to 10 years from now, we were having huge power cuts in summer, right? That is because shortage of electricity. Electricity is also being generated from is one form of energy if I'm not wrong, right? So now if you observe, you don't have such huge power cuts because technology has developed and you are able to produce electricity and render the services properly, which is again helping us in the economic development. As the power cuts are low in the rural areas, the farmers are able to produce more crop as they are able to water the plants or they have sufficient water for irrigation and the cultivation of land. Because of that, it is helping us in the economic development of the. Now, if we look at the different sources of energy, the sources of the energy is broadly classified into renewable sources and non-renewable sources. Now, under the renewable sources, we have the solar energy, wind energy, electricity energy, and geothermal. Solar energy is energy that we are generating from directly from sunlight. We all learned about it, so I'm not uh, explaining more in detail about that for this. So we are collecting the we are collecting the energy from the sunlight and we are generating electricity using solar panels. Next is the wind energy. You are generating energy through air, wind. Through wind we are generating the. Next is hydroelectricity energy. So when you construct dams, so why are you constructing dams? You are constructing dams to store water. So when you lift the dam gates, the water falls down out of the gate. So when the water is falling down and taking the path, it is actually generating huge amount of power here, which is helping us to generate hydroelectricity. Next is the geothermal energy. This is the energy that is stored in the earth. So when there is a volcano eruption or hot spring, this is actually captured when the heat is directly produced from the hot springs and volcano. Next is the bioenergy. This is derived from the biomass, which is typically biologically material derived from living organisms. So these all can be like bio waste. So you are generating energy even from the bio waste that is being generated from the living organisms. That can be from individuals or animals and all these. Now, if you try to understand the non-renewable energy, we have the fossil fuels, coal, crude oil, and natural gas. So, major chunk is the fossil fuels. Under the fossil fuels, we have the coal, crude oil, and natural gas. So, fossil fuels are formed by the remains of animals and plants. So, they are derived, again categorized into these three, that is coal, crude oil, and natural gas. So, coal is formed when the trees, plants get decomposed due to the pressure and heat that is available in the nature. Next, crude oil. Due to excessive pressure, you see smaller organisms get decomposed into oil. So, for example, they are giving algae. Next is natural gas. The estimated reserves of natural gas in India on 31st December 2019 stood to around 1380.63 billion cubic meters as against 1339.57 billion cubic meters on 31st March 2018. So here there is an increase in the reserves of the natural gas that we are maintaining from that we have from the year 2018 to 2000. It is about the telecom sector. So as I just told you a while ago about the mobile phone, the development that has happened in the form of communication in the form of mobile phones. We can't stay without a mobile phone these days. So this is because of a major development that has happened to the science and technology in terms of the communication sector. So you initially had in the old back, if you go back to the previous days, people had radios and televisions or a computer which is being worked for, right? So the size of a computer was very huge and it also costed a lot in the previous days, in the olden days. But now computers are also available at a cheaper date because of the development that has happened in this particular sector. The telecom sector, mobile phones that are there, right? We all, if you remember, we all had landline phones back in those days. I'm not sure how many of them are using it right now, but the landline phones has existed back in those days, right? The total communication in India grew by 18.8% from 9,961 lakhs in 2014-15 to 11,943 lakhs in 2018-19. Almost 2 lakh people have increased in this 4 years who are using the telephones, the communication. So landline telephone connections stood around 11.736 lakhs at the end of September 2009. The wireless telephones now constitutes 9,000. Wireless telephones now constitute around 98.27% of the subscriptions, whereas the share of landline telephones now stand only at 1.73%. If you observe this, people are using mobile phones more, that is your wireless phones, your cell phones more rather than the landlines, because you can carry the mobile phone anywhere. You can communicate with people all across. You don't have to stand at one particular place and talk to them. You can go around and talk. There is no restriction from where you can communicate. That is the reason people are showing much interest for communicating through a wireless telephone. Next is the insurance sector. Insurance sector is again an important sector that is contributing to the economy. Every particular individual or every business takes an insurance policy. We take an insurance policy to overcome the risk, right? It is covering the risk for the person who is taking that policy for a particular period of time. This is an agreement between the insurance company and the person, that is the insurer, between the an agreement between the insurance company and the insured person, which gives them a financial protection, right? So this is classified into 2 categories: life insurance and general insurance. Life insurance deals with the quality of life of people. Life insurance, the mission of this life insurance is to improve the quality of life of people through financial security. Now, the life insurance policy that is taken, it is paid back only when the person who has taken the insurance policy passes away or dies. So, when a family loses a person who is earning, for instance, they lose their bread and butter. They are in a fear. How do I live? How do I earn money? What is my chance? How do I survive? This question arises. So if they have taken an insurance policy, the insurance company is providing that family with the money that the insurer had paid to the insurance company. They repay that money back to the family so that they can plan accordingly. The products and services provided give a competitive return to the policy holders and also supply resources for economic development. Now we keep on taking a life insurance policy. When are you getting it? After maturity or on the death of the person. You don't get it in the between. But where are the funds going? These funds can be utilized for economic development. Life insurance plans include pension plans, health insurance, group insurance, unit linked insurance, children growth fund, etc. These are the various plans that are being provided by life insurance. Now, what are the objectives of LIC? To spread life insurance to rural areas and to all socially economic backward sections of population, covering risk of life at reasonable cost. So these policies are not too expensive. So whatever is the policy amount, this is spread across the years. Therefore, their mission and their main objective is that these insurance policies have to go to every particular nook and corner of the country so that people can get the returns and the benefits out of this at a future date. These policies also creates a habit of savings. Now when you put in money, it is put aside. Later on you are going to get it. So that is an indirect saving which you are doing by taking an insurance. This provides security to the policy holders wherein if you are right now, say you are paying a smaller amount, but in future you're going to get higher returns for it. The investment policy holders money keeping in view of the advantage to investors and the investors are investing keeping in mind the advantage and their community. They are getting return. What is the return they are getting? They are getting the money on the key to maintain economy in operation and full realization of investors' money. The economy is flowing, so the money is being pumped into the economy. When we buy an insurance policy, that is a contribution made by the insurance sector to the economy. Therefore, there is a flow which is there in the economy, and you get back everything in return after. So, this lesson comes to a conclusion. This particular, everybody has understood topics that we have discussed. This unit, tertiary sector, with your services sector, that is your contributions made to the economy from various services that are available in the society, that is from restaurants, transportation, telecom, television, your communication sector, your insurance sector, your banking, your real estate.
ఆ చదువులమ్మ నేరుగా ప్రతి ఇంటి గడప చేరగా మీ భవితకే భరోసా దూరదర్శన్ వేదికగా